you're going on the road now again for to play Michigan Tech. They've looked like they've had a lot of close games and might be a little desperate to get a win, especially at home. What do you know about them, and how do you have to be right now?
What do I know? What I've seen on tape, and then actually going back to they've got a lot of returners. They had some real high-end impact freshmen a year ago that put up some very good numbers as first-year players in our league, and they've just gotten better. Broadsman is a guy that's at the top of their scoring chart, but also makes them go. Really good hockey player, heavy, can shoot the puck. He's a threat 5-on-5. He's a threat on the power play. Their defensive core likes to get up into the play. And they're a pressure-orientated team where they like to come back into their zone and outnumber you, so you don't spend a lot of time in their zone. And they like to be in transition. I think they're as good as a team as I've seen on tape at trying to stress you out through the dots. And their neutral zone regroups, they're throwing a lot of pucks to some support in the middle of the rink. And so if your defensemen are snoozing a bit, they can create opportunities. And then the last part is, I know Coach Canad, who runs our penalty kill, has been paying very close attention to that power play, because it's when we were up there a year ago, they got to us pretty good on the power play. So I think they're very well coached. Tremendous amount of respect for Joey Sean and his staff at how they do things. And going up to Copper Country is always fun from the standpoint of they're as passionate as a group of fans about their team, their university, as there is, and the Misfits. And so it's a great experience for our players from the standpoint of that's concerned. It's just always a real difficult series to play.
You've had a lot of very close games up there, important games, and big weekends where you've swept them when they were playing well, and playoff series where they beat you guys. And what is it about that place when you have had success where you guys have been able to find a way to get out of there with some points?
Really staying with it, because there hasn't been a time that I've been a part of this program that we've gone up there and never walked out of there and said, "Whew, that was easy." If we've been successful up there, it's been a 1-goal game, an overtime game, scoring a late goal. They're difficult to play up there because they feed off the fans, and they're very prideful about winning in their own rinks. So we're going to have to go up and earn it. They're not going to give us anything, and I know that sounds like chatter, but it's a fact. If you don't go up there and you're not real dialed in, you can get beat and get beat bad.
I'll have Dallas coming in here, but what kind of difference, you talked a little bit about him after the game on Saturday, but just overall, what kind of difference did he make having him back in the lineup last week?
Well, for those that haven't, really met Dallas, he's an energy guy. You love seeing him at the rink. He brings positivity to what we're doing. He comes with an edge. If you're in practice Monday through Thursday and you're not paying attention, he might run you right over. So he's a guy that keeps things loose. He's an unbelievable teammate. I think he cares a lot about what we do as a program, what he can do to contribute, how he can help others. He's always looking to get better. When you have somebody like that, you value them because they bring different elements to your locker room. And I just think he brought energy to us immediately from practices into the weekend. And I thought he was rewarded with a great weekend.
And I know his night or that line wasn't as good on Friday, and he shuffles things around. Was he all right on Friday and better Saturday, or did you see a difference in his game Friday to Saturday?
The one thing about Dallas is he's not easily satisfied, and so you're right, that line had its struggles, and so we just decided to shuffle the deck a little bit. I think Dallas was upset with how he played, and so he came back with a renewed focus. And I thought, again, the pass that he made to Mackey is a pretty special little play, skill play, and then he just kind of kept going from there. And I thought he was hard to play against. I thought he was good offensively, but was really good defensively. And when he's on his game playing physical, he can be a handful.
You get through this weekend and you'll get a little bit of a break, but how do you keep as fresh as possible through this weekend and also do you look at this as kind of the first kind of portion of the season?
Yeah, I look at, we've been through, the amount of games that we have, and now you're finishing 9-10. You're going on the road for the second time in the first half, and they're incredibly important points. We're not where we want to be in the standings. We want to continue to get better, and so we're going to have to keep our foot on the gas for another 4 days. Our league doesn't allow you to take a breath until you get to break. So we're really focused on just making sure that Thursday goes well for us and try to get prepared to play against a team that I think is very hungry to win.
One last question here, Mike, before we wrap it up. We've talked a little bit about the offensive depth that we have here, and Mark Michaelis, of course, we expect him to be at the top of our scoring charts. He's there right now. Parker Toomey, of course, is another guy you expect to score, and he's went past the 100 career point plateau. You talked about, Dallas Gerards, who's a junior and had a nice offensive weekend for it. Charlie Gerard, I think, he's got 5 goals in the last 4 games, I think. And so the secondary scoring, we know probably what we're going to get from or what's expected of Mark and Parker and some of those other guys. And then early on, some of the younger guys on the team right out of the chute able to contribute. How important is that going to be going down the road, the offensive depth for if we expect to have success over the course of the long haul here?
Well, I think it's a really good point you bring up, especially when you go on the road. We've benefited from being able to get matchups that we're looking for, whether it's line matchups or D pair against a line. You lose a bit of that when you go on the road. And so if we can continue to have that scoring depth and actually depth that we're not concerned with what the matchups are, not for any other reason that everybody's going to go out and do their job offensively and defensively, it makes us a more difficult matchup. If we've got a line that's struggling or we have a group of players that just can be exposed when the other team's best players are out there, it can make it a lot more difficult for you when you're on the road. And so we'll learn a little bit about that this weekend because every one of our guys is going to be exposed to their best players because I know Joey will be looking to exploit that as much as he possibly can, and we're going to have to be prepared for it.